You have any doubts?
I was going through recordings, and are we supposed to see load unload program?
Yes, we.
We haven't. I think we haven't seen that.
We haven't seen the practical of load unload.
Yes.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah. I was. Yeah. The load and the load unload. The last thing we saw is the SQL theory class.
Yeah, SQL part we covered. There is a load unload practical class to be there. If not, we will cover now, no problem.
Okay.
Okay, so as part of load unload process, first we will do the unload one.
Okay.
In which we need one table and we'll get two files as output. One would be the rect file, one would be the punch file.
Yes.
So for that, my library. What's your table name we used here?
Claim tab. It's inside the claim tab, and it was like a I used poly tab. You might have used a claim.
Let me check.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm running the select query on that variable. We see that there are no records in this table.
Yeah.
Let's check with some other table. Okay, so I'll be using this particular table, which has at least 3 rows here.
Yeah.
So here, first I'm deleting the old files if they exist. And then I'm running the proc. This is the proc which contains the program, DSN utility.
Okay.
And providing one punch file, providing one rect file.
Okay.
Along with that, in sysndd star, I'm telling that to unload the table name, same table name over here.
Okay.
When I'm telling the system to unload this table, I'm telling where the punch file to be given and what's the unload rect file to be used. These are DD names, okay?
Okay.
Let me take it out. So I'm telling that the punch file DD name is syspn1 and the unload data file is sysrec1.
Okay.
So when I run this particular job, the data from this table should be moved into this rect file and the corresponding structure should be showed in this punch file. Submit it. got 0 there. Let's check 3.4. Here we got two files. Let's check the data file first. Browse. So I got 3 records, 3, 4, 5, 6 number records, 4, 5, 6. So we got 3 records unloaded into this file. Now what you need to look also is the punch file. What's the structure of punch file? So it shows what particular column from which position the data is aligned of which type. It exactly tells the column name, position of the column data in the file, and the data type of the column.
Okay.
Along with this structure, it also provides the load syntax as well. You can use this file as your input to load the data file into the table again.
Okay.
Now, when we want to do the load, we need to go with the lock and unlock steps. Okay. We
Okay.
need to lock, then load, then update, and then unlock. So for that, let's use my load job. So first step is to lock the table space. So first let's check what is the current status of the table space. For that, option F9, go to option 7 on the device menu.
Okay.
Instead of Spoofy, choose option 7. Then use the display to tell the database name and table space name.
Okay.
Put the cursor over there and just press enter. The current status is RW. RW means read and write allowed. Any particular query you want to run, it can be accepted by the system.
Okay.
What we are doing here is we are going to stop the process to cancel all the existing threads on that table space, and then immediately start the table space under UT mode, lock mode.
Okay.
Then once it is locked, then we'll ask the system to use the record file and punch file to load. Okay, record file and punch file to load. Now, like I told you, in the load point, it will sort and load. In the record file, it will sort and then it will load. So when it is sorting, it needs some work files.
Yeah.
Okay, space which system can use for sorting purpose. Okay.
Okay.
It's a space where the system can use for sorting purpose. So based on your input data length and size, you can add more work files.
Okay.
Now, once loaded, I'm gonna just display the status to see what status the table space is now. And then after load is completed, we're gonna repair and update the catalog entries of entire table space. Followed by unlocking the table space for the usage. You got it?
Yeah.
4 steps. Let's run that. We got MaxCC 4. Let's see. The first step is to lock. So let's open that. So first display statement showed that the current status is RW. Then we stopped it and started it and then displayed. So the final status of that step moved the table space to UT mode. Got it?
Yeah.
RW to UT mode. Then let's come down here. Oh, sorry, not here. In the spool only. F3. So second step is for sorting. Okay. Second step is for sorting sorting and loading, both two steps. Sort and load. Let's
Okay.
see what it shows. So it shows the load syntax what we gave in the punch file.
Mm-hmm.
Along with that, it gives the details of totally how many records got tried to load it into the table. Okay.
Okay.
But if you come down, it shows that the unique index duplicate key of the record has been encountered here, which means there are duplicate records we are inserting into the table.
Mm-hmm.
We are just unloaded and trying to load the same records, right?
Yeah.
So when we do like that, obviously system will scold us, right?
Yeah.
So these are called rejections. Okay,
Okay.
these are preferred as rejections. Rejections happens because your records are having duplicates. It says which record is duplicate, first record, second record, and third record as well, because we have an index on that particular table.
Mm-hmm.
You understand it?
Yeah.
Now, so what I will do here is, of course, since we have rejections, nothing will be updated there. We will go to our rec file and manually add some more records here. Okay, like
Okay.
this. Again, I'm running the same process one more time. Mark. So as part of the load step, system says that 3 records has been processed, total number of them, and little bit down it says the execution completed with highest written code as 4.
Okay.
Now in here we don't have rejections. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
After the load, if I check, the status has been moved to copy pending status.
Mm.
Okay. And then the third step is to repair, to remove the copy pending status and do the update of the entire table space, where system will update all the system table catalogs, system index part catalogs, index space catalogs, column space, everything. What all the system related tables are there for that table space will all get updated by this run stats.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then you get 0 here. Come back to the last step, move the status of UT mode to RW mode. Got it?
Yeah.
Now here, when I show you the punch file again, what we did here is a resume option.
Mm.
Resume means adding more records. Okay, resume in the sense adding more records. So when I run this query one more time now, I got another new 3 records from the new load, right?
Yeah.
Resume means adding more records. So earlier we were having these 3 records. Now we loaded another 3 more records.
Okay.
I want to tell you the second part of the story. Edit this one and tell the system to replace. Instead of resume, I would like to now do a replace. When I say replace, all the records from the table will be removed. Okay, and it will load the records those we are loading now. Okay, load is done. Let me rerun the SQL query. You see now only 3 records are present in the table.
Yeah. Yes.
Replace. Okay, the word replace makes the role here. Clear?
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Now let's do one more point of run. This time let's run with bad data. In first case, we ran with the file records which are having duplicate key values. Those will be rejected generally.
Mm-hmm.
Second case, we ran successfully with load resume. Third case, we ran successfully with load replace.
Mm-hmm.
Now what I want to do is make some errors with my data. Something like this, a wrong, invalid data. So what we should be expecting is an append when a particular data is incorrect while loading. So let's go to the notepad. Let's cover the point here. So sometimes we get issue. One of the issue would be space appends. Maybe the data in input file is too much. The data from your input file is too much and you have given less workspace to load. What I mean here is this part.
Yeah.
So in such cases, what happens? You will not have enough space to sort your data files.
Mm-hmm.
Then you may get a space appends. You just need to increase the space and run it.
Yeah.
But what I want to tell you is the second part of my issue, invalid data. Okay, so we are using the same example here. We are giving some date submit, claim submit date as incorrect date, something like this only.
Okay.
So let's run and see what happens. Append, how long you take to append? Okay, so we got an append over here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you get a load append, you need to know two things. One, which column has wrong data.
Okay.
Second, which record is causing that issue.
Mm-hmm.
In your input file, you will have million records to load. Out of that million record, which record is causing problem? Similarly, you may have a single record with 30-40 fields.
Yeah.
Which particular field is causing with wrong data? These 2 points you need to know. Those things you will find it in Sysprint itself. If you look it properly, you will find it very clearly there. So first thing, you need to see the error message over here. It says this input field is having an invalid data. Okay?
Yeah.
And come down to the right side and see number of record got processed. That particular will tell you which record is causing issue.
Yes.
Okay, 2 points on the Sysprint itself.
Mm-hmm.
What is the column that has wrong data and what is the row that is having the wrong data.
Okay.
Now, look at this scenario. If you run the query now, you get minus 904
Mm-hmm.
because the table space what is there now is in unavailable status because it has been locked and it has been failed as well.
Yeah.
So if I show you this option number 7 one more time about this display statement, I can see the status as UT status. This is called UT status and this is recovery pending status. Okay, generally you will not see this one, you will see this one. Okay?
Okay.
So which means that your table space is now in lock position.
Yeah.
Now some systems will not allow you, the process will not allow you to reload unless you remove the lock.
Yeah.
And whereas some systems will allow you based on the system updates. Mine is a very old system updates. Okay. What I'm using is the 8th version. We are
Okay.
currently going with 12 version. Okay, so you have to terminate the lock first. So for that, first try to display what all the logs are there on the given system. Display utilities star. You see the utility ID and the status of this table process is now stopped. You understand me?
Yes.
I want to remove this lock first. For that, you need to know which is the utility ID. Basically, you can see the utility ID on the job itself. Here it is.
UID.
Regularly, it will be your job name or your step name.
Okay.
In our case, I kept my name ID, and that's what each system is showing us. That this particular utility current status is now stopped.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what I can do is to use this terminate to remove that utility. If I have access. Okay, if I have access. If I don't have access, either I can run a job with the application ID access level, or I can ask the DBA to help me on this part.
Yeah.
Both any options based on the application's availability, we choose one of the option to go. So in our case, we don't have any admin, we don't have any application ID. I'm the owner of everything of this system. So we can simply press enter here and terminate the utility here itself. Similarly, after that, I can just run display again and see there are no more logs over here. Understanding?
Yeah.
Similarly, if I run this display statement, the utility status has been removed.
Yeah.
Logs has been removed. All I need to do is simply go back and then start loading. And again, like I told you, other option is to put the terminate option in here itself. You can put the terminate option over here. Okay, I just submitted it, but yes, here you can write the terminate utility, the utility ID over here itself. And when you run your job, the application ID will use that access and remove that lock itself.
Okay.
Okay, so I got some other events now. Okay, I did not corrected the data. I just ran it. So again, it failed. Let's change the data first. Try to reload. Again, remember that 904 as well. We got now completed. All I need to do is check my spoofy tool. So we have now 3 records loaded with the new date what I gave to the system.
Yes.
Got it?
Yeah.
Again, it's load and unload process. You don't need to write anything from the scratch. This process is fixed and defined one. In your applications, in your project, just copy paste existing any load or unload job and make necessary database, tablespace names, changes, give the rec file with proper namings, proper columns, and then use it. If your requirement is to load, okay, if your requirement is to load from a file in your test environment, if you don't have a punch file, you can just do a unload to get the punch file.
Okay.
Okay, the structure will be automatically created for you. If not, you have to manually do everything.
Yes.
So punch file can be automatically get by unloading it, but again you need to see that your rec file also matches your punch file space. Okay.
Okay.
Then again, simply run your load jobs which are existing. In your test environment, let it fail, no problem. You can learn something new there.
Okay.
Most probably the failures will be either space issue or your data issue only. If you don't have a column, then also system will mention an error there. Sorry,
Yeah.
any doubts here?
No.
Again,
So
there are
when someone is working on this load program, will they be giving a kind of like a document? What are all the records and columns will be, or we need to make it?
no, nobody will give anything in your when you are loading. Your table is what you are loading, so your all the columns of the table will be loaded, right?
Yeah.
Not one, two columns are interested here. When you are loading, every column is interested here.
I was just looking. I was just hoping that there will be a defined document which shows the record length and columns and tables.
Basically, it depends on the application standards. Some applications they maintain pure documents. Some applications they maintain a medium level documents only when somebody asks, and some other applications they maintain zero documents, thinking that no issue, there is no issues in those applications, so they don't maintain any files, documents kind of scenario there.
Okay.
So you may find, but again, while the documents are most not important in this case, you need documents of your business related data flow stuff. What's your application data flow is, what all the process you are carrying in your application, where you are getting the data from, where you are sending the data to. All these things are what required for your knowledge.
Okay.
When you are in a project, don't learn mainframe there. You should be learning the business and your application more.
Okay.
Because technically everybody knows, entire team knows mainframe. Everybody can solve a mainframe issue. But there are situations where you need to take decision to what solution you can apply. So the decisions are taken by the knowledge on application, not by mainframe knowledge.
Okay.
So if you know the business, you can decide whether you can bypass that particular process. Like say there is a process that gonna apply the business conditions on the data daily. Okay. Even if it failed today, if you skip that process, tomorrow it can fix that data. Is what knowledge.
Okay.
So today if it fails, somebody asks you, can we bypass this process? Yes or no is what your knowledge says. If the data can be processed in later cycle, you could say yes, we can ignore it, system will process tomorrow anyway. If you don't know that, you will be stucking over there to bypass or not.
Yeah.
So again, mainframe knowledge is used only for providing the solution, but decisions are made by your business knowledge.
Okay.
Okay. Any other point that we missed in DB2? We'll go back to CSS again from tomorrow. We
Okay.
have very less time now. Half an
I,
hour is
I,
there.
I think we got it. We got for the scale. We got for the syllabus, I think.
Okay, nice. So it is high time for you to prepare the theoretical intro level question and answers for COBOL, JSL and CS DB2. Your prime target is to clear any intro questions on these three modules first.
Okay.
Okay, your prime focus should be more on the intro side now.
Okay.
Intro side questions, intro side answers. So expected questions, expected answers, make a list of that. Make sure that you have answer to every question you have.
Okay.
Later, I'll share you few more documents from my own library. So you can just cross refer and compare them.
Okay.
The only agenda you should have is to complete your interview training as well.
Okay.
Meantime, we will complete CSS. In CSS, I'll tell you which programs you have to practice for your knowledge purpose. And then again, theoretically, you need everything to cover for interview sake.
Okay.
By this end of month, like another 11 days are there. So this by end of this month, you should be completing your course and your interview syllabus as well.
Okay.
There are some tools that I should show you, which you should know. Those also I'll train you.
Okay.
And then we'll be taking a couple of interviews and see where we are lagging. Okay.
Okay.
Any other doubts? Any other thing that you have?
No. Okay.
Okay. Then see you tomorrow.
See you.